tribunal is now convened. Never before have so many put aside their differences and come together in pursuit of a single goal.
But never before has there been a crime so heinous, so vast, that it had the power to unite us in grief and revulsion.
We are gathered here today to seek justice. This is no ordinary criminal. Finding him and bringing him back will almost certainly involve great peril. Are you prepared for that?
No man escapes the manhunters.
No man escapes the manhunters.
Show us an image of the accused.
He's a native of the planet Earth. The Green Lantern, known as John Stewart.
The tribunal just sent machines.
What up, Mo?
What's happening?
What's going on?
That's good. I can't call it.
I mean,
The brightest dates is the blackest night.
that part. I love it.
I'd say I love it. So between all the extra rabbit holes I've gone down, I did make sure I focus on analyzing the blackest night. And will try my best to stay on task. However, I give a disclaimer at the beginning of every live. Rein me in when needed, please.
Be like, I'm here for it. However, comma.
Right. When you need it, hey, go ahead and handle it. I look. I will not be offended. Oh, and you got hot topics. Hot topics. Yeah.
All right, so tonight we're going to unpack in Blackest Night episodes 4 and 5. So as we just saw, the tribunal is calling for Green Lantern's head. So he's going to be on trial. The League is going to be tested for sure. And the word justice is real complicated. So let's see what this is going to look like here coming up.
I gotta say, it felt a little racist. I ain't gonna even lie. Of course, the black man had to blow up a planet. Come on.
Right. They didn't even get that man to defend himself. They was like, nah, you did it. You did it.
It was him.
You did it.
The secondhand embarrassment felt worse than watching Kramer doing comedy back in the day.
Stop it.
I know. I'm terrible. I gotta say though, the shout out to like the Dini universe and how well it's aged, because the Art Deco design, and then how it kind of flopped back and forth. I was like, oh,
yeah, they did a lot. They did a lot.
They did. But it was also like when you key in, it's like, oh, this is gonna be a Superman episode, because that was the style that they did for Superman the animated series. So I love it.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so it's a Superman joint, okay, because there's like 7 of them, so not every one of them are gonna be in every episode, because it's just too much. So they broke it up. Like some episodes are gonna have like Batman and Flash and and then some episodes are gonna have like in this episode with the Blackest Night, they just had Superman, Flash, Hot Girl, and Martian Manhunter.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to save John. So
the question well, let's do the episode recap real quick. So John's destroying the planet. The Manhunters drag him off the spaceport, and the League is looking around like, "Wait, what just happened?" So the Manhunters do justice with zero empathy. The League splits up to investigate. Meanwhile, John's ready to plead guilty because of guilt and grief. The truth, it was a setup, and the Manhunters were playing God. But my question is this: why did it take? To me, it seemed like it took the League a while to get going.
Well, that's because they still new.
With Hawk Girl losing her mind on everybody, and Flash pretending to be a lawyer.
Well, you have to remember that they're still a new team. They're a relatively new team, so they're used to being individuals.
I get that. I get that.
So
But
I'll be right from the beginning because they kind of gave a roll call of like, where's Wonder Woman? Where's Superman? Where's Batman? And so they were like, Superman is dealing with an earthquake. Wonder Woman's on assignment on another planet, and Batman said I'm busy. Which I thought, I was like, that's typical Batman.
but some bullshit.
Right. But you gonna love it because it's my so cause what you gonna do?
Right.
Like, who gonna check me, boo? Who gonna check me?
That part. Ain't nobody gonna check him. He out here doing his thing as usual.
So, but yeah, that I found that endearing because I'm like, if they were a well-oiled machine from the jump, it's like, okay, well, where did they grow from here?
Okay, I get that.
You know.
But the thing that continues to stand out to me is, would the League have continued to act and react in the same way had this been a Batman situation?
Yes.
I don't believe it. You need more people, Mo. You need more people. I don't believe it.
No, okay. If Batman was on trial or Batman was there to help.
Batman was on trial.
Okay, see now you're talking. Well, first of all, Batman wouldn't have said he was guilty.
But that's the thing, though. John never said he was guilty. He just went along.
He went along with it.
He just stopped the nonsense because, one, they tearing up his neighborhood. And see, that's the other thing that kind of set me off, right? They were so ready to fight these guys instead of figuring out what they were there for. They were tearing up the neighborhood in which he lives. Like, they fighting right next to the barbershop that he was in. Friends.
Although the Manhunters were being rude, so I mean they kind of started it.
They were being rude, but they wasn't out there. Look, they asked them what they came for. He told them what they came for. And instead of them just like trying to figure out the situation, they just started throwing hands.
Well, I think that kind of goes back to that Cat Williams routine where he was like, white people was like, I've only known him for 10 minutes, but I know he wouldn't do anything like that.
Exactly.
This doesn't sound like anything he would do.
Right. So
I mean, if we want to talk about realistic, I mean, but again, like I said, this is they're a relatively young team, as far as like they're all individuals and they're just basically, especially Wally West. Wally West is like the youngest out of all of them.
I mean, even
in the beginning of the episode where he was like hitting on Hawk Girl, talking about, is there a Hawk boy around? I'm like, ooh, kind of cringy.
He is very cringy. He is so cringy.
Kind of cringy.
He is very cringy. He is so cringy.
And he was like, Manhunter talking about what? You don't get lonely? He's like, more than you ever know. Oh, what? You don't get lonely? He's like, more than you ever know.
We're like, why you in my business though? Why you
right, like, this ain't about me right now. This is about you playing. And yeah, that was a crash and burn.
all the way crash and burn, all the way crash.
It was. Bless his heart. He tried though. He really did. You know, he really tried. But I think, see, the thing about it is that I think Batman has had a similar situation where he was put on trial. Um, but the thing about it is that when you got the world's greatest detective, uh, you know, not in the you know, not on ice, basically, it kind of hinders your investigation a little bit. But you do have to admit though that this episode they did kind of let Superman shine with his intelligence because he was the one that noticed that the planet was still rotating. Like, why is this moon still rotating around a defunct planet? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
I'll give you that, but they also had to make him look like less of a simp from the first 3 episodes.
Well, of course, because Superman is overpowered, so you gotta you gotta put something on him in order to like hinder him. Because it's like, you know, Superman is so overpowered. It, every episode would literally be like 3 to 5 minutes. Because Superman showed up. All right, the end. And everyone lived happily ever after. Like, God, dog, it's Superman. So of course you have to add, you know, certain elements, like how in the beginning of the episode, you know, they were kind of getting their butts kicked by the Manhunters, but by the end they were like rolling over them like a rolling pin. Like they was literally coming in like a wrecking ball on Ola.
They had to, you know, they had to give it a little boost.
Right, it was a little adrenaline rush,
Had to
and
figure
then
it out.
they had the continuity issues because did we forget that Martian Manhunter is scared of fire?
Oh, good catch. This is accurate.
But there's like, you know, cars blowing up all around him and like on fire, and he's not having a PTSD moment.
Oh, they did do that.
Like, oops. I mean, I get it, you know, because his back was to it, so I guess since it wasn't in his face, I guess I don't know. Maybe he was like focusing because he was like, these are new folks. They don't need to know all my weaknesses. Don't, you know, just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Don't look away. Don't.
Buddy.
I guess I don't. You know, I don't know. I don't know. But back to the point of loyalty versus protocol, though. It was definitely what up, Rico? But yeah, but back to the loyalty versus protocol, though. It did seem like it was a you know, a counterfoil between like the Green Lantern Corps was like protocol. Oh, they said he did it. I ain't really like him anyway.
I was like, did they just flex on my boy like that?
And they did. And they did.
Standing there just looking at him like, oh well.
I always thought he was a peasant anyway. Like, well, damn.
Basically, like why?
Would y'all done this to Hal Jordan?
Okay, that part.
That's why I was like, this feels a little, just a smidge racist, just a little bit.
Midge, because one, the rest of them, you don't know what they are really, but for them to treat him that way, out of all of them, that was telling. That was telling. And then on the backside, when Hawk Girl whooped all their ass, I thought that was.
Indeed, I was like, she was like, I've only known him for 10 minutes, but guess what? Y'all some cowards. Y'all ain't got no loyalty.
None.
You know, you're supposed to be down for your core.
Unless they Jon Stewart.
You know, because I'm sorry, if Hal Jordan had pulled up, which he is technically in their universe, because there was an episode on Superman the animated series called in Brightest Light, where he was on that episode. So they are in the same universe. So I'm sorry if I feel like if Hal Jordan had pulled up. They said, "Oh, Hal Jordan did it." I, I just can't see Hal Jordan doing something like that.
Exactly. I can
Like
see the conversation being totally
Kilowog would have been like, "I trained him myself. I can't see him doing that."
Thank you. It would have been a whole different conversation.
Not our Hal. Oh, but it's because it's Jon Stewart. Oh yeah, he probably did it. He did it. The Manhunters wouldn't lie. This Tribunal wouldn't lie. I'm like, dang. No love, huh? All these years of of service for y'all, for the group, for the crew, and this the love I get back.
But I gotta say that I do appreciate the fact that they showed him in both lights, like showing John at home with his family, like not with his family, but with the people that he grew up, teachers, and just the neighborhood in general, right? And then just the neighborhood in general, right? And then how he looked up to him in his neighborhood.
And it showed his transparency because it seemed like everybody on the planet know that Jon Stewart is a Green Lantern. He don't have a secret identity.
Exactly. He's not hiding from anybody.
Right. So it was just like, for the way they pulled up, you would have thought he was like cowering and trying to hide himself on Earth. Like, there you are.
The fact that he walked right out and said, "Hey, here I am."
Mm-hmm.
Also the way he stepped in and was like saving people while he was hanging out. That was pretty cool too. He walking down the street, somebody getting robbed. He's like, "Hold on. Hold one. Got it."
Right.
Grabbed that dude and shook the paper out.
And did. I said, "Oh, that's disrespectful." It's like, all that work, and what did it get me? Why did I do it? Like, dang, John, I didn't know you was in town.
My bad, homeboy. I didn't know you were here.
Right. And he was like, "Ariana, what are you doing here? Why are you here?" It's like, damn, this is disrespectful. But it's all good, it just showed how much of a citizen that Jon Stewart was. But I mean, honestly, if it was a Batman being accused, I feel like they would have went through the same protocols. Although they might have would have been thinking like, Batman will do about anything, so he might have did this, but we gonna go check to see, check this out.
We're gonna take a look.
We're gonna take a look. We're gonna do a little research. But my man, like, so what that, Rico?
I said they would have definitely said Batman did it.
Like, well, and then Batman would have been so arrogant, he probably wouldn't even gave a verdict. I mean, how do you plea? He wouldn't give a plea. He'd be like, "This bullshit."
Yeah, I'm not dealing with this.
Right, I'm above it all because I'm a rich I'm a rich white man.
I'm a rich bitch.
Right.
It doesn't matter to me what y'all think. It doesn't matter to me what y'all think.
Exactly.
That part.
Husky voice and all. He's dag show would have it would have been a kind of a So the question is, like, who would have been the character for it? Would have been Batman?
Of course, it would have just been me. I protect the city.
That's what I'm saying. Like, would the Bat family come around? Like, we had Batgirl and Batwing and Robin.
No, well, actually, Batwing. No, actually, nobody
Batwing,
came around.
I
was going to say Batwing was his ride.
Well, there is there's a character now by the name of Batwing. He's black.
You mean they actually named him after his jet? Really, they named him after his jet? The original jet was called the Batwing.
Look, I don't make the rules. I didn't name the man. He's you know, the chief engineer that Batman has that makes his stuff.
Yeah, they made
His
him young
son,
enough to be Batwing. Oh, his
huh?
son did. Okay, I was
His
going to
son
say,
is,
goddamn,
yeah,
that man old as Methuselah.
yeah. No, it's his son.
Oh, okay.
So it's a black man that's a part of the Bat family. I meant
You know, I
Nightwing.
loved it.
I meant
I
Nightwing.
loved it when they made Morgan Freeman that guy. I loved that part because I was like yeah, because in the original that man was old as hell.
Very much so.
And so it was a perfect casting choice. Perfect casting choice. You know, the only thing is I don't know how to vote. Did I vote in the comments?
You should be able to click on the clipboard and then click what your choice is.
It won't let me. It'll let me end it though. So I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Oh well.
You know. Ah, there it is.
Huh? It let you vote that time?
Nope.
Oh, that's right. Moderators can't vote.
Oh, I didn't know you made me a moderator, but thank you.
I did.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So yeah. But moving right along. Sorry for that distraction. Apologies. Yeah. But you know, I believe he was on trial for something deeper, but I think it was more so because it was just the fact that he was one of the top Green Lanterns, and I think the Manhunters picked him because he was like, we're gonna get the cleanest one, right? The
Right.
one without the most issues, the one that always go follows protocol because he's a Marine, so he always following orders. And I think they picked him purposely because they wanted to show how they felt portrayed, kind of like how they felt when the Guardians basically demoted them.
Right. Right.
So I found that foil interesting as well. But what's going on, people on the panel?
Hello.
Hi.
Someone just invited me up.
Hello.
I did. Feel free to join in or your cup of tea or your conversation. That's okay.
Okay, thank you.
Shay, what's up, boo?
Hey. Hey, y'all.
What's going on?
Chilling, y'all.
Okay. You know anything about that John Stewart, that Green Lantern? I said, you know anything about that John Stewart, that Green Lantern?
I've been so off grid. It's a shame, y'all.
It's
a
all right.
shame, y'all.
It's all right. It's all right. It's blurred
Listen,
night, baby. Thursday is a blurred night. And right
it
now we've been
is.
focusing on the DC universe, particularly Justice League. And so John Stewart is a black man that is the Green Lantern. God bless him and God bless
No,
America.
I know who he is. His little eyes turn green and stuff. I seen it. But
Yes.
I'm just
His little eyes
yeah,
turn
I
green.
seen it. But I was just saying, like, oh, I'm off grid. Y'all just been chilling. Not his kind of
It's
chilling,
all,
my kind of chilling.
this all right. This is from like 25 years ago. So girl, you all right.
Yeah,
This
you
is
good.
classic.
You good.
Yeah. This ain't
Yes,
no new new.
I'm 30, y'all.
She said, stop it.
You know what? I'm just gonna shut up now.
She made us feel real old.
Real old for no reason.
I'm so sorry.
It's disrespectful. So what? I'm old enough to be
That
your auntie. That ain't
I was about to say, show your niece some grace.
I mean, show me some grace.
I
Okay,
got
please.
you.
You.
I'm gonna show you something.
I mean, you could have just said I didn't watch it. I would have been cool with that. You just hit the jugular. Woo.
I'm
I'm over
so
here
sorry,
clutching my
y'all.
pearls.
All of the pearls.
I'm over 30. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That was mean.
Y'all, I ain't gonna be 30 for long, y'all.
That's
Like,
not helping the situation.
grab
That's
that heart.
It's so the injury. Okay, I'm on mute. I'm on mute.
and now you are right. You are right. That just hurt my poor little soul. It was just reminded me of the good old days.
Right?
Having cereal on Saturday morning. Catching up on episodes of Justice League.
I'll
Oh,
say, ladies, if you don't mind, grab that heart me for me. Like and share if you don't mind.
yep. Show love to the host of the live.
So you walked us right into the main before we welcomed in our friends. So let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about those cats because like the way they're introduced to us in the beginning of episode one, they come in ready to fight, looking for John. Right? John shuts it down, goes along with them willingly, and then the next thing we see is kind of foreshadowing for the rest of the episode when John walks past the Green Lantern Corps and he speaks to them. The response that is given, um, it wasn't by my guy. It wasn't by my guy. The guy that basically said that he was a disgrace, and then he gets bumped by the manhunter, or the manhunter walks by, and then he gets bumped by the manhunter, or the manhunter walks by and he says stupid machines or something crazy to him, and the manhunter was ready to get on him right then, but he gets stopped. But then it gets crunk right after that. You follow where I'm at, Mo?
I follow.
So I'll say,
One more time.
huh?
One more time. I'm sorry. Miss Mary, can you mute? I'm sorry. I was trying to do it, but I don't know how to be a moderator. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. But go ahead.
So basically, when they first introduce, or the second time we see the Manhunters is after they get John back onto planet, for the tribunal, and they're walking past the Green Lantern Corps, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the Green Lanterns says something um about the Manhunter, and the Manhunter overhears it, and he was ready to fight.
Right, right. I remember that.
He gets stopped.
But it did kind of give a little foreshadowing.
Right, exactly. So we're foreshadowing what's going to happen coming up because of what is happening in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So then right after that, we see them have this huge meeting and all of them are there, right? So like if they have no sense of right and wrong, and they're trying to reclaim whatever power they think was taken from them, who came up with this plan?
Well, the head of them, I can't remember, Zignar. I think that was his name.
But when did he get to be so much?
That was his name.
But when did he get to be so much? I guess not
See,
necessarily
that's
smarter, but so much more of a sentient being than the rest of them.
well. See, that was the thing. I think they didn't explain it as well as they should have, because if I remember correctly, they were basically they were AI.
Mm-hmm.
They had the autonomy of like a sentient being. However, they didn't have the emotions and empathy to go along with that. So they were just cold cut, like, oh, okay, well, you did a bad thing, and by you doing that bad thing, regardless of the reason, even if it's saving somebody else's life, yeah, you getting punished. You see what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
So when they got demoted, they were like,
Makes sense.
oh, so you just gonna throw us to the side after all this work? Bit. So they've
like,
been plotting all this time.
Ooh, like, can any system truly deliver justice if it doesn't understand human experience and circumstance? Like, can any system truly deliver justice if it doesn't understand human experience and circumstance?
Well, I wouldn't even necessarily say human. I would just say empathy. And clearly that answered the question because they were. And clearly that answered the question because they were kind of even on their like power levels. Their power levels never changed the entire episode, but based on emotions, the heroes were able to focus better and overcome them. And it also shows how weak the Guardians are on a physical level.
So now that's a good segue. Like, are they really weak, or were they just seeing empathy for something that they created, or feeling guilty for something that they created?
The answer is yes.
You always get me with that. Be like, yes.
I know, because it's like because it's both. It's all of the above. They would have, and the irony of it is that they act in order for them to be guardians, they suppress their emotions. But just because it's suppressed,
also shady that initially they weren't going to show up for John. They were like, "Oh, we don't need to be there. Why do we need to be there?"
Right.
But then when they realized them boys was about to get at their house, they was like, "Oh, wait a minute, we need to let somebody know."
They were like, "Something ain't right. Something in the milk ain't clean."
Now all of a sudden you need milk.
Right. They always do that. That's their regular MO. Unfortunately, whatever is a Green Lantern incident, it's always no. We're gonna follow protocol. But then when it comes to them, I'm like, oh, I see why you didn't follow protocol.
What was me? I need you.
Right. Basically, that is how they operate every time. And it just be like, see, if you just followed, from the jump, you wouldn't be going through all these shenanigans. But it is what it is. They always got to find out fat meat greasy. But nevertheless, I did thoroughly enjoy the the dramatic irony from the beginning. Showing John, just being an everyday man, and then he didn't put up a fight when they was like you under arrest, and to him going all the way out there. And I was about to die, literally, and Superman had to come in like, wait, hold up, stop the execution.
And that is the other thing, right? So moving into like question number 3, like the burden of representation. John was so focused on representing properly all of the things that he is, right? The Marine, the good guy, the upstanding citizen at home, the Green Lantern to its core, right?
Mm-hmm.
That he just give it up, like all of it.
It kind of gives that theme of represent, what's it called? Respectability. Politics ain't gonna save you.
Because he was out there giving his life away because he was confused. He didn't even want to stand up for himself.
He was being a martyr because the manhunters had the case airtight. At least that's what he thought. Because he was going by the protocols of that justice system. You're not able to lie because they're literally lifting your memories out of your brain.
And with that being said, how did old buddy lie?
Apparently the manhunters did something. I
Because
didn't know they was able to inject artificial memories.
it is a potential that he did see what he thought he saw as well, I guess.
Well, no, when it came out that the planet actually didn't blow up, John jumped on him and was like, "Why did you do this?"
So true.
So since they had been a part of that system for so long, I think the manhunt. Well, I have to take a leap of faith with this because that was a plot hole. The manhunters probably had figured out a way to like create artificial. That was a plot hole. The manhunters probably had figured out a way to like create artificial memories for it to be scanned. And also the sad part is that the actual charge, even if John actually did it, it was an accident. Well, like he was trying to blow up that planet. He didn't know that the daggone ship had deflectors like that.
That's my point. Why didn't he even try to defend himself? He didn't even try.
Because he's Mr. Protocol. Willing to be the martyr, willing to die on his own sword. Because he's been trained basically to be that. Which I think that was still like a case of when respectability politics go wrong.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. Because no way.
Which I think that's the reason why they picked him as well, because he was such a by the book person, by the book Green Lantern member, that he was like, yeah, I'm about to show how the Guardians are willing to throw you away.
That makes sense. Yes.
So because that lead manhunter kind of alluded to it when they were fighting. When he at the end when he got to that green when he got to the huge power source. Which I get that the episode was running long, but at the same time it was like, and that ending was kind of a little weak though. I ain't hold you.
Way too quick. I was like, how does that happen? It took like 10 seconds. He gets all the power, and then John comes in and regulates. I was like, I was a little upset. They could have gave us another episode in the arc.
But at the same time, that would have been enough to fill an episode though. That's the problem.
I think that the middle part where they started to figure out what happened could have given us more meat and then more background into the manhunters. That would have gave us enough to make that third episode of the arc complete, I think, in my opinion. Because the way they just went in there and was like, oh, John's gonna save the day because his unmitigated power will.
Yeah. It just okay. There we go. I can see though. It's I'm right now. I'm talking to my inner child. Because my inner child was like, John Stewart is the man. Of course, he's gonna save them all.
Agreed. He is the man, and of course, he did save them all.
Right, but it did seem a little. And it did seem a little too easy. I think he should have like maybe held the power a little bit longer. But I get it. The Guardians were passed out, so he kind of had to work fast.
It was lazy.
You know what? It might have would have helped if like maybe like the other members of the Justice League would have been like John, or maybe the other members of the Green Lantern Corps would have came together to pull that. But for him to do it all by himself, it's like, come on, man.
Right.
It just felt a little. It did feel a little rushed, but I get it. Even with quality content, it's still not perfect. There's no such thing as perfection. So I wanted to give them grace based on the time frame, because that was back what 2000 2001. Also, the amount of episodes they had to pump out. It ain't like now where they can go like 3 or 4 years and all of a sudden it's just 12 episodes. Ugh.
Be like, stop it.
And they're doing traditional, animation basically, as opposed to the digital that they have now. I'm pretty sure there was some digital within it, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Not the level that what they got to work with now. So I'm willing to give some grace. But yeah, I think if they added maybe another like everybody pulled up to watch the fight and made it a little more dramatic, instead of him just jumping into the the power source after 2 hits.
Right. It was like,
damn.
and take it back.
It's like, oh gosh, this is terrible. Like, where's the I know we've been fighting all episode, but I was like, I did feel like I was, was missing a little more. Should have had just a little bit more, just a little bit. A couple more pumps, and maybe like the other superheroes coming in because the fight was wrapping up, and they're like, John, no,
a little something,
or even a little teary eye because him doing the whole, the speech, teary eye because him doing the whole, the speech, the anthem, the crying call, like maybe, maybe I don't know, a cut to some of the other Green Lantern Corps members, while he's saying it. I think that would have really did something.
Potentially, but the bad thing about it was the only ones that were out there was the ones that was doubting him. I don't know if I would have wanted to join in. I say, you saw how John gave him the snub when he came out. Like, whatever.
I mean, you can still do that, true. Or okay, so how about this? Cut scenes between the other Justice League members. Since they were the ones that was loyal to him.
Yeah, I think that would have done a little bit more for it. Potentially, specifically, Flash and Hawk Girl, because they was ready to do the damn thing.
Oh yeah, because they were like, not my guy.
Right.
I've only been here for 10 days, but I know damn well he's not gonna do anything like this. Yeah, absolutely. Which now that I'm thinking about it, because it was like, poor Flash, because like poor Wally, because he's like the youngest one out the crew. He just barely out of being a teenager. He's like in his 20s and stuff, and he just, he just meandering around.
He was like, I'm gonna do it. And I don't know why you ain't defending yourself, but I'm gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
Then he found out he was gonna suffer the same fate. He was like, wait a minute, what?
He was like, that's not fair. And he was like, and it was funny because they were like, well, yeah, that's how we got rid of our lawyer problem. I was like, oh, ouch.
Yeah,
and then they had a reference to like, if the glove, then he gonna say if the ring don't fit, you must quit. Which was like, because I watched somebody else and they were like, that's like the third reference to the O.J. Simpson trial, and it kind of makes me wonder, like, did y'all like not like that verdict?
Come on now, really?
Because the way you treated lawyers, I don't know. I can't put my finger on it, but it felt a little racist, just a little bit. I can't put my finger on it. It kind
That
of felt like a little microaggression, just a little bit, just a little bit. I
there
can't
was a
prove it.
lot, there was a lot in this episode that would lean to some type of writer bias, illustrator bias, something to that effect, right? Because look at the neighborhood, right? Think about when they were going to play basketball. Think about the fence, like the breaks in the fence, right? Think about
Well,
the rundown barbershop. Think about the diner. Think about the crime happening in the middle of the day. Then you get to the trial, and we throwing back callbacks to the O.J. Simpson trial. It's so many coded things in there that will lead you to believe that somebody in their writer's room or their illustrator's room was kind of racist.
I don't necessarily want to say that. Like, especially like with crime in the middle of the day, that happens to all the superheroes. Where if it's a central episode to them, with the exception of like maybe Diana.
Yeah.
Well, no, I take that back because even Diana, when she's in the city, 9 times out of 10, if something done happened, she's walking around and she happened to walk up on something, yeah, she's gonna they'll have a scene like that too. So I don't necessarily want to say it's that. I think they were just trying to show him as an everyday man, because it was kind of like canon to his character, because John is from the hood. John's from the hood. He came from humble beginnings, but he went and went into the military, and became a Marine. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
let's talk about his canon then. So why exactly does that have to be? Why does in order for the character to have a deep background, why necessarily does he have to come from the hood? Why could he have been a middle suburban kid that went to the Marines? Why did he have to?
Because most kids that go into become in the military are poor. Let's just keep it real.
Negative. I don't agree.
During that time frame, yeah, absolutely.
I don't agree. Because my family wasn't poor. I went to the army. And a lot of the kids I knew also did the same thing.
Okay. After the draft was repealed, it's a lot more poor people going in because of the GI Bill. I mean, that's what they advertised on.
Now, I'm not going to say I didn't take advantage of the ability to go to college, but my family was broke. And a lot of the people ability to go to college, but my family was broke. And a lot of the people that I went to school at Tuskegee with, they were not either. But they also took free schooling.
Right, because Tuskegee is that's a private school though. That's a private HBCU, so that's expensive. You gotta have, unless you get a scholarship. I mean, that university is very expensive to go to.
It absolutely is. I'm very proud that I do not have any student loans. Bing, bing, bing.
Right, and I'm proud of you for that. And while I did not finish my journey, I do want to give a special shout out every time it comes up in conversation to Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden was able to get mine released. Thank
you.
What did I hate? But myself coming from humble beginnings, I will say that was kind of the if you don't have the money, that was the avenue to go. As far as like the military. Um, so so when I see it, I'm like, oh, okay, that's just
Right, and I think that they try to make it subtle so that no one would make a big deal out of it. But when you look back at it with more adult eyes, it looks away. And then they continue to build on top of it.
Wait, was he the only character that came out of the military?
Yes.
No, there was another character, but that was on Justice League Unlimited. I cannot remember his name right now.
Getting ahead of yourself because
Ma'am.
Adam, he
But at the same time, see the bigger issue, what it is that it's proper representation behind the camera, because at that point, McDuffie wasn't there. For the Milestone universe, he didn't pull up. He didn't pull up until like Justice League Unlimited.
Right.
And the sad part is that the problem has been, for decades, with these comic book characters, majority of the time they're with our ethnic characters, they're created by someone that's not ethnic.
That part.
And they create their backstory where it's like, by the time someone ethnic comes in, they can't really change it at that point.
Nothing they can
So
do.
all they can try to do is just try to salvage what they got. Hence the problem.
Exactly.
So, because the closest other person in the military is like Lois Lane, because her daddy in some universes is that, well, he was military, but he was high ranking because they came from generational military service members.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, that was kind of the beef they had, because Lois was like, I ain't doing all that. I'm going to journalism school.
Right. Exactly.
I'm going
I don't want no parts of none of that. None of that.
Right. I'm going to speak truth to power. So, but yeah, that's what it ultimately boils down to, is the lack of representation, in those rooms. And, we do have allyship, but unfortunately, it's not the same. How the old folks used to say it at the church. They'd be like, you know what? That was good, baby, but where's the oil? Where's the oil, baby? It's missing. It was missing some ingredients. That's why we losing our recipes. But and it's kind of weird. I find myself in a weird position because I'm literally not the person that like defends against this line of thinking. But my inner child is like, no.
I could see aligning with the character and feeling a certain way about the character and feeling tied to him, the way that they made him. But again, like I said, looking back at it with grown up eyes, you kind of see how problematic the backstory is for the character. And then how they layered on top of it while accusing him of doing nothing. Basically.
Right. Now I will say that they did fix it though with Static Shock, because Static Shock came from middle class family.
Yeah, he did. But again, that goes back to what you said before. The difference in who was in the room when they wrote Green Lantern and who was in the room when they created Static Shock.
Yep. And he was a softer, and the irony is he was a much softer version as opposed to the comic book.
Right.
Because the comic book, he was being bullied, and he went out there to go find him a pew pew because he was tired of being bullied because of the gangs, because they were trying to get him to get into a gang. So yeah, they had to soften it up. But see, also that added effect, they had to soften up the the origin stories as well. Even from like Green Lantern and all that for the DC, Warner Brother, WB Kid audience too. I forgot I
Yeah.
have to put that into context as well. So
And I believe that's also the reason why they kind of opted to put Justice League Unlimited in a place where it was focused on by older folks. It wasn't just Saturday morning cartoon sitch.
that and Dwayne McDuffie, he has a he had a talent of building on characters on an existing universe. Because he did the same thing with Ben 10. He added a lot of levels of maturity because they were supposed to be older and more mature and things of that nature too. So man, this is like a therapy session. It's like it's breaking up like, oh, and I don't want to I don't want to let go. But also I think, speaking of that, I'm willing to give them even more grace because that was around the 2000s. That was around the time where it was supposed to be showing positive representation, and I think that was their way of doing it. Because if you notice, it was a day in the life, and he was out, walking around, and then his middle school like basketball coach was like, "Hey, here's a success story." Da, 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 da. He was Marines and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Little
man was like, did he do that in high school?
right. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, yep. That was a good question, little guy.
Right. So it's like, and it was a little bit more, regulated. The regulations had like softened, but there was a lot of regulation back then as far as like what you can do and what you can show on kids television. So, and then the lack of representation behind the scenes. So they were like, "Oh, we'll just show him as man that came from humble beginnings and is just living and went back to the neighborhood and
And then did something stupid and went to jail."
Well, no, it was like I mean, if you notice, he didn't fight. He just let him put the cuffs on him.
Yeah, that part.
He was like, "Oh, you come to arrest me? Oh, okay, well, here's my arms."
Let's go now. Let's go.
Damn, you're not gonna even say nothing.
And as every time we go back to that, it bothers me the fact that he didn't even try to defend himself. I don't care.
I guess he was of the mind that the system will ultimately do the right thing. Which, if it wasn't for his homies, that wouldn't have been the case.
That part. So look, question. Backtracking just a little bit. Do you think the Manhunters in this episode, again, 2001, are a low-key metaphor for modern policing? Because a lot of things were happening around that same time frame. Again, we get the we get the OJ reference.
I kind of say no because they seem like they were demoted. Because remember, the Green Lantern Corps was the cops. The Manhunters, they got demoted to be basically COs or sheriffs at the jail.
But their react first, or their unemotional policing.
And that's the thing. I don't think they necessarily didn't have any emotions. They just had a lack of empathy because they were AI. They were sentient, but they had no empathy within them.
But that's the same thing.
Not necessarily, because they had anger. They were jealous. Those are emotions. They just didn't have any empathy. They were angry. They just, for whatever reason, didn't have empathy. Because, well, not whatever reason. The Guardians don't have empathy. So when they program them, due to AI,
They give them
they
any.
huh?
I said when they programmed them, they didn't give them any because they don't have any.
Exactly, because they suppress their empathy in order to create their Guardian group. So if anything, this is kind of like a cautionary tale when it comes to artificial intelligence.
Should we be showing this to all these people that's playing what they got now?
Look, listen, we've had too many movies and television. We've had Black Mirror, we've had Twilight Zone, we've even had the Terminator movies and TV series, and they ain't caught on. It's too late. Skynet is active.
Skynet is active. Quit playing.
Yeah, I mean, it added to how they're like, dirty in the water, making the water toxic. Like, we're gonna go through a water crisis.
But at the same time, we out here seeding every cloud that will let us. So okay, we're getting off topic.
A little bit. We're just a little bit. Bring me back. I told you. I'll do it. I'll do it.
So, I guess to wrap it up, do we think that in this episode, John earned the League's respect more than he did with his fighting prowess in episodes 1 through 3?
I don't think. I think they sympathized him. I don't think it was ever a question of his power. Well, with the exception of the ending scene where he like drew all the power from the power battery, and then exercised the Manhunter.
Insane.
So I guess maybe for that one scene, maybe for that. And also maybe, yes, for his level of restraint, because the entire episode he didn't lay a finger on any of them until it was proven that he was set up.
Right.
Because the first thing he did when he found out he was set up, he jumped on that dude, talking about, why did you do this? I was like, oh, wait. Not even wait a minute. It was like, go ahead, John.
With that part. Thank you for showing out. We appreciate you.
Right. Like, ooh, for a second, we was like, are you human? Like, damn. Like, I would have crashed out a long time ago. Like, dang.
Okay. Crash out would have been on the menu as soon as they came up.
Right. But also, it's kind of like that, going back to that respectability politics again. By him being from the hood, he knew the rules of dealing with law enforcement. Do not resist.
That part. It's there you go. See, every time you bring something else into it, and it's like, okay, now do you think it was a little racist?
Maybe more so a mirror or a reflection of what's going on.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But I don't think they were like, I don't think it was purposely supposed to be a microaggression. I don't think they were being shady about that. With the exception of if the ring don't fit, you must have quit. It was like, Wally, go sit down somewhere.
Right?
Because it's like, Wally, you just want to be down, but it's like, sir.
Like, don't do it, sir. Don't do it.
But I get it, because Wally is a redhead. So I get it, That's how we told them they were honorary. It just went to their heads, honey.
That was before they became honorary. You can't be putting today's rules on your
first time. This ain't the first time we've called them honorary. This ain't the first time. But I digress. Okay. I give you that.
So, with the fact that it was only 2 episodes this week, I think we've kind of talked this one down. But I did want to ask you: have you seen the comic that they created as the backstory to the Superman movie?
No, I have not.
Yeah. So I was actually doing some ship work this week and ran across it, and I was like, ooh, I might need to buy this.
Oh my.
So I will get it and let you know how it goes.
Okay, please do, because you know typically with like comic book adaptations of a movie, it's it could be a hit or miss, but that's just with any adaptation.
Well, they claim that it's the source material for the movie, as if it came first. I was like, well, how is that? And we're just now seeing this, but we'll see.
I'm gonna give a little more grace to Mr. Gunn, because I mean the movie did come out and it came out with the highest gross of a Superman movie, so I got to give him props on that.
Now, it's been said that it was good.
Mm-hmm.
The clips that I have been seeing of the characters themselves speaking, um, different little blurbs over TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Terrific has a couple that I thought were cute. Especially the one where he told him that he stole the jacket.
Damn. And I've seen a couple of clips with Crypto, and I was like, you know what? This is so more. This makes more sense.
Yeah.
The Crypto just automatically being loyal.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I got a little comic relief going on with it. Okay, the fun is back. I while the Dark Knight, with Batman Returns and all that, that era of like darkness, it was like a gift and a curse. Because while it made those Batman movies awesome, they try to pull it into every other character, and it's like, no.
Right. It's not all of them, it's him.
Right. That's his judge. Like, stop trying to oh, okay, well, the darkness works, so we can just put it for another role. Stop it.
Yeah.
Although I am curious, I want to know who. I can't wait to find out who they're gonna have for Wonder Woman this time around.
I'm still upset about that because I enjoyed her as Wonder Woman.
Okay, so let me just say, she can't act. She just can't. She just can't act.
She was.
So I'm okay with her being retired because she can't act. She had to look down. She had to look down.
Wonder Woman. She was believable as Wonder Woman because her acting ability made her appear to be a little bit more naive in the total character, which is kind of where Diana plays because she doesn't know anything about our world. It felt believable.
I want you to compare the voice actor that's for the Demiverse of Wonder Woman compared to what Gal Gadot did for Wonder Woman.
I like her.
You just like her because she looks like her. We can find another actress that has the look.
I like her.
We can find another actress that has a look. Well, hopefully we can find another actress that has a look. Think about
if not, we're gonna be in trouble.
Right? Because she was kind of a scrawny Amazon. I'm just saying. Like, I wouldn't mind like a 6 foot something, Amazon woman, like, strong.
See,
I wouldn't mind that. That's like I'm a warrior, princess.
Man, I don't want her to
Like,
look like Xena either, though.
well, why not? That's in the same. That's in the same like uh country.
Cause Xena gives. Mm,
Yeah, Xena was a little too
muscle in my toenails vibes. You know what I'm saying? She just
it was too much what?
like muscle in my toenails vibes. She gives me too much.
And an Amazonian not supposed to?
The way that they have been portrayed is not overly muscular, but still strong. You know what I'm saying?
True. I know. I know she has. But at the very least they haven't really been having her caught up in her own uh what was the rope of truth.
Lasso,
Lasso Truth? Yeah,
lasso
Lasso Truth.
true.
Because in the early comments, there was a lot of that, and I'm like, how did y'all get away with this?
Hey,
Because
nobody.
because the creator, he was kind of into that type of stuff. Knock on yuck is yum. But I was looking at the older, just looking, scanning at it. I was like, how did you? Every week, sir. Every month she's in some type of bondage position. How did you do that?
And on that note, all right, to wrap it up. First of all, thank you for everybody that dropped through, gave a gift, followed, liked, shared, got your heart meet. Appreciate you. Mo, thank you for being here and helping to carry the conversation.
Always a pleasure.
So this was more than a trial, it was a testimony. A reminder that not every hero gets grace. Next week, we're going to be heading underwater with the enemy below. So this is going to hit the Aquaman arc.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to miss how DC turned the King of Atlantis into a whole revolutionary. So with that being said, please like, follow, share everything across the Blurdosphere and anything Blurred Watch Breakdown. And we'll see you all next week. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, Mo.
Yeah.